G'day everyone, Viv here from Knights of Dice. I hope you're all keeping well. Welcome back. As I mentioned on Facebook today when I posted up a preview picture of the Breyfogle Logistics warehouse, our little street sweeper and the pallets, I do a little video. And I'll try and do this a bit more frequently, and we'll certainly start catching up on all our other 100 odd kits and produce a small little video which we can put onto our website. So when you go looking to buy stuff, you can watch a cool little video that tells you a little bit about the model and hopefully gives you a little bit better representation of the scale. All the product dimensions, approximate dimensions, are listed on the website, but sometimes it can be hard to judge scale. Now, scale is a completely different discussion for another time because it varies. We predominantly work in a looks good scale. So a lot of our stuff, certainly in the Sentry City range of stuff, we advertise those as being suitable for 28 to 35mm gaming. And I use that term looks good scale because if you're producing stuff to a certain scale, doors and stuff don't work very well. You can't fit miniatures on a base through them and all that sort of stuff. So we don't produce to scale, like a scale model kit, like a railway model kit. We produce to a looks good and is playable scale that fits within those different genres from 25 to 32 to 35mm scale, etc., etc. Anyway, so here we go. We've had these models for a while. We've been sitting on them for ages, mostly because I've been sort of a little bit slack in doing my job. But look, they're available now on the website, so let's have a little bit of a chat about them. We'll go through from smallest to biggest, and we'll come back and I will overlay some other footage and some pictures and stuff so you can see things a little bit clearer, because I know that you're a long way away from where I am. So let's talk about Breyfogle Logistics in a minute. We'll talk about the little street sweeper from Wagner in a minute. Wagner is a make-believe name that we came up with for our Sentry City range of products. So our little pallet jack comes with 5 little pallets, and I'll show you some. Oh, now we've got 4. Scott, can you grab that pallet for me? It comes with 5 pallets. Now our pallets are super quick and super easy to put together. They're only 5 pieces. Scott, thank you. Scott's done a great job designing these, and you can assemble these in under a minute. And I'll have another video, or we'll have another video at some time soonish, I'd like to think, about how these get assembled. All you need is the pieces, some white glue, and a paintbrush. And then the little pallet jack. No one that I've seen does a little pallet jack. I haven't seen one, but it's a lovely little touch. We had some room left over on the sheets. We use standard A5, A4, and A3 sprues for all of our products, and on this sprue there was some room left over, so it worked out quite well. So I wasn't expecting this. This was another little kit that Scott did in between other major work that generally takes a lot longer to complete, and I think it works really well. The pallet jack, or the pallets, fit onto the pallet jack, which you'd obviously expect and hope, so that you can sort of stack something on there and it looks like somebody's moving something around. Anyway, so that pallet jack kit, I think it's 14 Australian dollars, and it comes with those 5 pallets and the pallet jack. It's a cool little thing to have around your warehouses, and obviously pallets everywhere right now in the warehouse, couple of doors down. The whole front yard is full of pallets. I don't know if they're clearing out the warehouse or whatnot, but there's got to be at least 200 pallets sitting out there in their front yard. Anyway, moving on. So the street sweeper, this was a fun little foray into vehicles. You did this again, Scott, off just sort of I wanted to do it sort of thing, right? Yeah. And I think it's come up really nicely. I mean, everybody has street sweepers. Those big brushes and stuff on the front to sweep your gutters and stuff. Sometimes they're small, sometimes they're big. Obviously the big street ones that do your gutters and stuff are generally a lot bigger than this, but you get a lot of these small ones to do malls and pedestrian strips and all that sort of stuff where it's dangerous to drive big trucks around. And I love it. This is, again, a 1.8mm kit with some cardboard components. The cardboard just helps add some of those detail layers. And I think it's come up really nicely. Obviously, you can't get inside it and you can't put rubbish in there, but you know, you don't need to do that. It does have a detailed interior, and you'd want to paint that before you finished assembly. And that might be mentioned in the instructions that Scott does. I'm not sure, but you know, sometimes you can benefit from pre-painting parts. Sometimes it's easier just to assemble the model and paint. So I'll have pictures of these next to 3 different miniatures. I've got 3 different miniatures here. One is a Eureka, a modern US Marine from Eureka Miniatures. The other one is a Space Marine, and the other one is from Pulp City. Might go grab that phone and then come back. I know you weren't waiting around, but here I am, I'm back. Okay, so as I was saying, I've got 3 different miniatures here. I'll take some pictures and some close-up videos and put them over the top of this so you can see things a bit clearer. A true scale 28mm miniature from Eureka Miniatures. A 28mm overscale, what do they call it? What's it called, Scott? Huge scale 28? Heroic scale 28. And then a figure from Pulp City, which is 32 millimeters. So we'll have a look at those to give you a better idea of the Breyfogle here and its scale. But as you can see, if I bring it a little closer, sort of somewhere around there, I've got to find my other cameras, I don't know where. You can see these miniatures next to this building give you, from at least that distance, some representation of how big this warehouse is. So we'll look at the scale in a second, but let's just pull it apart. So we have branched away in more recent buildings from the square rectangular designs that we've been doing in the past, and creating a shape that's a bit more interesting, a little bit more visually pleasing, and certainly from a gameplay perspective, gives you a whole bunch of little places to put miniatures and duck around corners and run around corners and shoot and climb back, and so that's why we ended up with this odd shape for this building, and partly because our warehouse is also a little odd. It's a nice overall shape. It's a big footprint on the table, so it's obviously going to be a centerpiece model. But let's take it apart. So obviously the roof comes off. We have a detailed interior, and again, I'll show you some pictures of this, including a little pallet jack or pallet lift inside the warehouse. It is on split levels, like older warehouses sometimes have been repurposed to allow for truck access and stuff at the back. So we've have this truck roller door here. It's designed for a truck to pull up to the back rather than roll inside. The truck pulls up into the back of the loading dock and they move stuff in and out. We've used corrugated card for our roller door, so on the outside and the inside, so you get that a bit more realistic look for the corrugations. And we've also used it for the pallet lift inside. There is a staircase up into the roof section, so we'll put this roof back on. And up in the roof section up here is a small little office. Again, the roof comes off, and you can pop your little mans inside there, and it allows for a little bit of dynamic sort of gameplay, because the ladder on the back that you can see here isn't attached or connects to the building. It connects to a back plate, and that back plate allows you then to put that ladder anywhere that back plate will fit. Any of these long strips around the building you can put that ladder into. So you've got access from the outside up onto the roof. Excuse me, you've got access from the inside up into the office building, and then from the office building out onto the roof, and from the roof up onto the roof of your office building. So there's different heights, there's lots of different areas to play in. The side down the base here is big enough to put a 30mm base down the edge here, so you can have miniatures sort of shooting and fighting around the corners here. I really like it. It's a very playable piece. It's very big. Obviously, it's a warehouse. It needs to have high ceilings and all that sort of stuff. But at the same time, it's very, very usable. So I love it. Obviously, the little entrance in here, you can tuck miniatures and stuff into there. So there we go. That's a quick look at the Breyfogle Logistics model for Sentry City Waterfront. The pallets and the pallet jacks are also going into the waterfront range, and the street sweeper sits in Sentry City accessories. So there we go. I'll have some links in the descriptions off to where you can find these models. And that's about it. If there's things that you can think of that we should be doing, or you'd like to see us doing in terms of community interaction, video footage or content, please let us know. Like I said in the studio tour, which is also linked in the description below. 2017, got to get a little bit more active. I really miss filming content. I don't get a lot of time for it anymore, but I can make time here at work because, you know, it's work related. So there we go. Don't know what else to say, so I'll sign off. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you next time. Ciao.